What is going on, my degenerates? Chris, the Dice Degen here on Casino Gaming TV, bringing you the daily wager special Masters edition. All right. If you guys aren't aware, the Masters is this week, and had some requests for a breakdown of the tournament, who I think is going to win. So we're going to get into all of that. But welcome everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a great Wednesday. If you're into the Masters, or if you're not into the Masters, well, it's going to be exciting. I'm a golfer. So I like the Masters and I like golf tournaments and things like that. So I'm going to break down the Masters for you. Par three competitions going on now. I had it on in the background earlier while I was doing some work. But let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. Let's see what we're talking about. Obviously, our shows, what we're doing here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's up on our screen every single day. And please remember, the advice that I'm giving, it's not necessarily going to guarantee or warranty profit. All right, it's just advice. I'm not telling you to make the bets. You do you. All right, yesterday. Let's get into it. Yesterday's recap. I'm going to put it up. It was a bloody day yesterday. Not a good day. Unfortunately, one win yesterday, two losses, and a push for minus 3.26 units. Lost the two bigger plays yesterday. Not good, not good. Brings our April record to 7-4-1 for 2.15 units in profit. So not going to complain about that, but we were riding high going into yesterday, and brutal day yesterday. The Bournemouth game, I have no words for. If you're not a soccer fan, you can just listen to how I break down the game. There was 30 shots in the game yesterday. 30 shots, double-digit shots on target. The expected goal stat that they put out during the game was at like over 5.75. That game should have saw almost 6 goals. It only saw 2. Unfortunate. Good read. Capped it just how I thought it was going to play out. It's just they weren't hitting the net. So happens. Astros terrible read. They looked awful yesterday. Tampa Bay Rays team total. Nice cash. I think they ended with 10 runs. I know a couple people in Discord were asking me about 5 or 5.5. I liked the 5. Didn't love it at 5.5. Well, if you placed it, didn't matter. Went over. Soaring. And then Inter Milan draw no bet in the Italian Cup. The end game ended in a draw. Had a feeling it might. I liked Inter to win. They scored a late goal to tie it up, which was nice to get us the push. But ultimately, yesterday, not a great day. Looking to bounce back today. We'll get to the picks in a bit. We're going to talk Masters. All right, we're going to talk Masters. So for those of you who are new to the golf world or new to what the Masters are, well, it's the first major of the year. One of the most coveted golf titles you can get. You get a nice green jacket when you win. And it's one of my favorite tournaments to watch. The course is very, very tough. So we're going to break it down. I don't have a ton of slides for this one. It's just going to be me kind of chatting. I have notes up on my iPad, so I'll be reading off that and going through what I look for and then ultimately who I like to win. Again, if you guys are going to bet any of these picks, please bet very, very lightly on these plays. All right. There's 88 people in the tournament. All right. So picking a winner out of that is kind of tough, but hopefully I'll do it. We'll see. All right. So, as I said, 88 players in the field. All right. So it's actually a lower field than most major golf tournaments, but there's 88 players. 52 players are on the PGA Tour. 18 are from the Live Tour. If you guys aren't aware of what the Live Tour is, it's a spin-off tour of the PGA Tour backed by Greg Norman and the Saudis. And there's been a lot of talk about Live and PGA and the beef between the two of them and, a lot of different things. So keep that in mind, all right? Live Tour has 18 players. There's 8 amateurs who qualified. 7 past champions who are on the senior tour now, and then 3 players from one of the other world tours that made it, the DP World Tour. I'll be honest with you, the Live Tour, I'm going to break down the Live Tour in a bit on why I think the players aren't going to do well here, but there's really only one player I would consider from the Live Tour, and I'm not even considering him in totality for my picks. So if you are a Live Tour fan, well, sorry, I don't like your guys this week. It is what it is. All right, let's talk about the course. All right, so it's at the same course every year. It's Augusta National, right? The course this year is going to be playing very, very long for two reasons. One, the course is long. All right, it's at 7,500 yards this year. I think it's 75, 45. So that's a long, long course, and it's also the weather is going to be atrocious. All right, the weather. I'm going to pull up the weather right now for you. Um, if my screen was switched, there we go. All right, the weather in Augusta this week is going to be bad. Thursday will be probably the best day. It's going to be a little bit cloudy with some rain. Look at this. I got ads popping up. You'd think I'd whatever. All right, but Friday, it's supposed to rain most of the day. Friday, Saturday is going to be there a potential for a washout completely on Saturday. The guys will play in the rain, obviously, but it's tough with the rain. All right, and it's going to rain Sunday as well. They're already speculating for a potential Monday finish, which would go against all tradition for the Masters. So we'll see what happens there. But with the rain, right, and the course length as it is, it's going to be playing very, very long. So it's going to favor long hitters. Now, why is it going to play even longer with the rain? Well, the ground's going to be very soft. There's not going to be any rollout on a lot of the shots. All right, so the long drivers are going to have somewhat of an advantage because they can carry the ball farther than those guys who hit the ball shorter. They're going to have a lot of long shots in, and that's how it's going to play. All right, and most notably, the 13th hole, for anyone who follows the Masters or anyone who knows about the 13th hole in Amen Corner, they added about 45 yards to that hole, which now makes it almost ungettable in two. You'd see a lot of players going for it in two, risking it with the creek in front. But now it's almost ungettable. There may be a handful of players who could potentially get there. The rain is going to make it almost virtually impossible to get there. You're going to see a lot of players going to that hole in three. You'll see them laying up on their second shot. But that's one of the big additions that's happened this year. So 13th hole is new. It's not new. It's just longer. All right. And the other thing to consider with the length, it's also the greens, right? So the length is one thing, but the greens are very, very tough at Augusta. All right. They're made of bent grass. And they're very firm and very fast, which we may see a difference in that this year where they may play a little bit slower and they're going to be a little bit softer because of the rain. Don't expect them to be super slow because of the rain, but they will be softer, which is going to pose kind of a problem, I'm going to say, for a lot of the putting, right? You see that the putting there is usually very, very tough, but with the slow greens, if they're a little bit slower than they were, these guys are playing in practice rounds where it hasn't rained, right? So they're playing on fast greens. They're playing on these firm greens in the practice rounds. And when it comes time for the actual tournament itself, the greens are going to be a little bit slower and they're going to be a lot softer. So what does that mean for the betting perspective? Well, the shots, there's a stat on like approach to green and distance from the pin. That's going to be a little bit more important, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. But just keep in mind the weather is going to be absolutely brutal this week. And the other thing, too, is that none of these guys have really played on any courses that have been similar recently unless they played a practice round at Augusta. And that's the main reason I don't like any of the live players this week. So for the live players, right, where's my live stats? Here they are. All right, the live players. All right, there's a bunch of them in the field this week. Keep in mind, the Live Tour is only a 3-day tournament, and there's also a team element in there, as there is the individual element. But they only play for 3 days, and the courses they've been playing on don't compare very well to Augusta as of late. All right, a lot of these guys have been having rough performances in the Live Tour anyway. So I don't really like a lot of them this week, with the exception of Brooks Koepka. Koepka's coming off an injury. He played well last week. He did win the Live event last week. I don't anticipate him to win the tournament. I think he may have a good week this week, but be mindful. Again, the course at Augusta is going to be very tough. I give Brooks a slight edge over all the other Live players for the sole reason that he absolutely pounds the ball and he's been playing well as of late. Dustin Johnson's another one who does pound the ball, but he has not been playing well as of late. People are high on Cam Smith this week. He's been looking very disappointing in the Live Tour as of late, so I can't back him this week. But we're going to go over some of the stats that I'm looking at, and then ultimately we'll get into the picks and stuff. But the stats I'm looking at, all right? So it's strokes gained with tee to green, so that's driving distance, and then your second shot in. Also looking in at driving distance as a whole. Again, I said the course is going to be very wet. It's going to be not a lot of run out. It's going to play very, very soft. So that means driving distance is where these guys are going to get a lot of their juice from in order to have a shorter length approach shot into the green. We're also going to be looking at some putting stats, even though putting is going to be tough for everybody. There's no real putting stat that can quantify Augusta because it is a very, very tough green to look at. Par 5 scoring is also going to be important. There's 4 par 5s on the course. It's going to play a par 72. The par 5s are generally the easiest holes on the course at Augusta. They usually have there's some of the only holes that have like a under par scoring average. Now with 13 being lengthened, we'll see if that holds true. But par 5 scoring distance. We're also going to look at the approach to the green. So players from their second shot into the green, going to look at stats there. And then also look at 3-putt avoidance stats. Again, putting is going to be interesting this week. We'll see how it plays out. And finally, I'm looking at some of the course history, guys who have played. Rookies don't win this tournament, so you can basically count out any rookie. You can count out guys who haven't played this course very often. This is a course that when you play it and you know it, you typically tend to do better on it. So that's where I am looking at that. Excuse me. So let's get into some of the stats that I'm looking at and some of the experience-based plays that I'm looking at here. And I'm going to go over names. You're going to hear names. I'm not betting on these guys, all right? You're going to hear names. I may be betting on them. I have a list of who I like for certain things. And I'm going to break down the sports book for you as well because there's a lot of prop bets and other stuff that you can find some value in. So there's a couple stats related to putting, all right? So strokes gained around the green and 3-putt avoidance. I mentioned both of those. So strokes gained around the green is going to be important because Augusta is a challenging course, and it may be that people need to get creative with it. Also, note with the lengthened course and the wetness of the course, guys may be coming up short quite off the course. Guys may be coming up short quite often, all right? Because they're not going to get the rollouts. They're not going to get a lot of spin on the ball. They're going to get spin, but the opposite spin that they normally get. So normally it's firm and it's hard to actually get the ball to stop. This year it's going to be soft most likely, and they might get a lot of spin off of it. So there's a couple of guys that I'm looking at in terms of those stats. So 9 players specifically within the top 30 that I think could be good on these greens. And in the short game area would be Cam Smith, who historically has been pretty good. Again, hasn't been playing well as of late. Jason Day has been playing pretty well and is good in this stat. Jordan Spieth, Taylor Gooch, Max Homa, Matt Fitzpatrick, Chris Kirk, Sahith Theegala, and Patrick Reed. All right, again, I told you Reed, he's on the Live Tour. Count him out. All right, we're going to go over the stats in a minute, but those are the guys that have good rankings within their shots gained around the green and their short game stats. But the main stat that I'm looking at this week, and one of the ones that I think will be very, very important this week, is the driving distance and scoring on par 5. So you're looking at guys like Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Cam Young, Cameron Champ has been playing really well and been having good driving stats. Minwoo Lee, Gary Woodland is predominantly a long hitter. John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, guys like that do well off the tee, but these guys aren't factoring in, or some of them aren't factoring in with with their short game. But The main stat that I want to look at in terms of the driving perspective is also their scoring on par fives. And this is where you're going to see guys that I'm really liking this week, right? So you got Patrick Cantley, who is in the top ratings on scoring on par fives. Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Sungjae Im, Xander Schauffele, Cam Smith, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry, and Scotty Scheffler. All right, so these guys are all very good in par five scoring. They lead the PGA Tour and the Live Tour in PGA scoring or on par five scoring. But I think it's going to come down to, again, the weather, the difficult conditions, and I think that's going to be boding well for guys who play well in their overall shots gained tee to green. All right, and those guys we're looking at are Scheffler, McIlroy, Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Schauffele, Morikawa, Matsuyama. Zalatoris is on this list, but those are guys that do well in strokes gained tee to green. And then also, we're looking at historically, right? Again, I said no rookies have won. You can basically count them out. The guys who who are older in age usually struggle there as well because it is a long course. They're not going to get the rollout with this kind of weather. It's a hard course to play. These guys usually tire out. A lot of them don't even make the cut. So recent form-wise and with historical perspective, Scheffler won last year. Back-to-back hasn't been done very often in this, but Scheffler's looking good right now. McIlroy, again. So these guys are looking good, and I'm going to take you through some of the picks now and why I like certain guys, right? So I told you the stats that I'm looking at are strokes gained tee to green, short game strokes gained, par five scoring, the putting stats, things like that, all right? And I didn't make a model, let's say. I put all these stats in like an Excel spreadsheet and spit them out, and this is why I'm going to be getting to these guys that I like in particular, all right? So I'm going to show you the odds for everybody to win. Let me make that a little bigger for you guys so you can see it. A little easier if it wants to load. There we go. Real quick. Do I do NASCAR? No, I don't watch NASCAR, so I don't do NASCAR. F1 possibly because I like F1 a little bit better. I don't watch NASCAR at all. I get bored watching NASCAR. I'm sorry. I just can't watch guys go in a circle. I'm sorry. It's just me. And yes, hole 13 will be different. Brought it up a little bit earlier. For those of you who weren't here with the earlier thing, they added about 45 yards. It's a par five. There's a creek in front that makes it a tough hole in general, but generally it was gettable by a handful of players in two. This year, most likely, it won't be gettable in two. It'll be a 3-shot hole for most people. All right, so here you goes with all the odds. All right. This is on Odds Checker. It's a free site. You guys can look it up if you're interested in seeing. But the reason I'm showing you this is because you can see all the books and where the odds are. All right, for across the books, and you can see Scheffler's favored, McIlroy. Again, these guys I mentioned multiple times in these stats. That's why these guys are up here. They're in good form. They rank highly in all of these different stats that I was bringing up. So, some options there. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. All right, pretty much anybody outside of this really 50-1 type odds. Right? There you go. John knows. I like betting on third world soccer where it's all fixed. F1's fixed too. There you go. I just bet on fixed sports. When you got the guys who give you the insight, that's what's good. All right. But generally speaking, any of these guys outside of 50-1, I would really cut it off at Justin Rose here. Any of these guys down here, Minwoo Lee, he was playing well, Fleetwood, yeah, whatever. All these guys down here, you can forget about them. All right. They're not going to win. I can promise you that right now. These guys that I'm showing you right now, count them out, all right? Anybody outside of 50-1, don't even bother placing a bet on. The reason why is because these guys don't factor in on any of the stats that I'm looking at. They're either first-time players, they're not playing well, they're in it because they've won something before that makes them eligible to play. A lot of these guys are on the Live Tour. Again, I told you they're out of it for me. Anyone on the Live Tour is pretty much out of it. So I would cut it off at Justin Rose. Anybody below Justin Rose, forget about it. All right. Yes, that includes Tiger. I'm sorry, Tiger will not win this year. All right. It would be a great story if he did, but he will not win this year. He's playing for the first time since the Genesis Open. He's been looking okay. The problem is that his game is good still. His legs and his back aren't. All right. And with a wet course, he's going to struggle. It's going to be very soft. There's going to be weird lies for him. He's going to have to make shots that he normally wouldn't have to make due to the wetness. So he's going to struggle this week. I can guarantee you of that. Will he make the cut? Possibly. I'm going to go over that in a little bit. But I don't like him to win. So I showed you guys these odds up here. All right. These are the guys that I'm really focused in on winning the whole thing. And I'm going to show you who I like to win the whole thing. And then we're going to go over some of the different betting abilities on the different sports books that you guys can place. We're going back to NASCAR. You don't have to watch it to bet it. Yeah, I don't. But it doesn't interest me. It doesn't at all. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of NASCAR fans. I've gotten a lot of heat for not being a NASCAR fan. It just doesn't do much for me. You make left-hand turns the entire time, right-hand turns. I don't even know what direction they go. Zero interest. I'm sorry. Zero interest in NASCAR. Not even enough interest to look at a sports book to see who to bet on. Just me. Here we go. The picks. The guys I like. All right. Now, I will put together a little listing of picks in the Discord. All right. So if you guys are in the Discord, pop in the Discord. Nightbot is already doing my job for me. Doesn't even have to put the Discord in there. Nightbot did it for me. So if you guys are on the Discord, go check it out. But here's the guys I like right now for outright winners. All right. Scheffler and McIlroy, they're the top two. They're the lowest odds to win. I don't love Scheffler on the back-to-back. The back-to-back's really hard. It's only been done by a handful of guys, including Tiger Woods. But Scheffler's playing way too good right now for me in order to discount him off the back-to-back. He's been playing really well, so I like him. He leads in a lot of these stats that I'm looking at, or he's at least top 5 in a lot of the stats that I'm looking at. And he was, from a points perspective, so the way I broke down the model, I had them ranked, and I gave each ranking a certain amount of points. Scheffler was in the top spot on that ranking, followed very closely by Rory McIlroy. Again, these guys both hit the ball super, super long, so I do like them this week. I also love Patrick Cantlay this week. All right, Patrick Cantlay has been playing well, and this course does suit him quite well for his style of play. So I do like him. And here we go, getting a phone call. Hopefully I didn't lose my stream. It's my lunch. They're coming in. I'm going to text the guy. So I like Patrick Cantlay a lot. You want to see degen multitask? I'm going to text and talk about golf at the same time. Just drop my food off at the door. Thank you. I got to type that out, though. Cantlay's been playing really, really well as of late, and he's been looking good. And again, the course fits his eye. Sungjae Im is another guy. He's more of a long shot play, but he does have a lot of power off the tee, and he has been scoring well. And I look for him to have a good week. And then I told you no one passed Justin Rose. Justin Rose would be the very end, but I do like him this week. He does play well in these rough conditions, and he has been playing very solid as of late. So I do like Justin Rose quite a bit this week. But we're going to go over to the sportsbook, and I'm going to show you some other bets. And again, the official plays, I'm going to call them, because I will post some plays for it. Again, outright winner. There's 88 guys in the field. So, you know, it's going to be tough, but I'll put some in there for you guys. The other thing with the golf, and I'm going to tell you right now, all right, it's a 4-day tournament, all right? They're going to cut the field after day 2. For guys that missed the cut, they're going to cut the field. So there will only be not a handful, but there's probably going to be like 40 to 50 players left after the second day. But one thing I want to say with golf, all right, it's a 4-day tournament. Don't tell me on day 1 these guys look bad. All right. If they miss the cut, then you can tell me that was a terrible pick. You suck. All that stuff, fine, no problem. But on day one, when you have some no name from the bottom of the list that I showed you with the odds leading the tournament, don't worry about it. All right. I'm telling you right now, these guys who are inexperienced on the course, they always come out charging in round one for some reason. All right. Um, Very, very tough to lead a tournament from wire to wire. All right. But the experience is going to get them. I can promise you of that. All right. I'm a golfer. I know this. I've played tournaments. I've played 4-day tournaments. Believe me, it's very, very hard to lead a tournament the entire time and keep up that level of consistency. Not to mention that a lot of these guys who are at that bottom of the list, past rows with what I was saying with their odds, a lot of them are excuse me, playing in the Masters for the first time, or it's like maybe their second time, or they might be playing on the PGA Tour for the first time. All right, so don't freak out when you see one of them up at the top of the leaderboard. They will not lead the whole thing. All right, I can promise you of that right now. And I'm going to show you some picks in a second, but I got to get back to chat here. I was wondering what type of stats I'd use to make picks on NASCAR. I don't know, ability to turn left, how good their foot is on the gas. No, I'm kidding. I honestly, I wouldn't even know what stats to look at for NASCAR. I'm sorry. Like, I generally have no clue. Like, I don't watch any NASCAR. For F1, I go off drivers. So, who's driving, the model and make of the car. So, with the engine performance, guys who, like, F1's different than NASCAR. Like, I wouldn't even know where to start with NASCAR, to be honest with you, because F1, there's different tracks and it's not a circle. So there's different areas where you can pass in F1. So there's certain guys who are really good at passing. So I look for things like that. But predominantly the driver and the engine type. But yes, I agree with John. All right, NASCARs are great for a Sunday nap. 3 hours, you just go to sleep and you wake back up. I'm not putting it on Sunday anyway. If there's nothing else on, hell, girlfriend degen will probably put Hallmark on, and I'd rather watch that. There you go. Line of the day from me. I'd rather watch Hallmark than NASCAR. You can tell I'm not a NASCAR fan. And yes, right, I'm sure there's a ton of strategy in with NASCAR. I had actually all right, side note from the golf real quick, all right? For those of you who don't know, I'm a relatively well-educated individual, all right? It may not seem like it. I may seem like a moron. I may talk like I'm an idiot, whatever. But I was in the honors track in grade school, okay? And we had a special class for math, all right? This is why I like math. This is why I like sports betting. This is why I like craps, all that kind of stuff, all right? And my teacher for that math class was very, very interested in NASCAR. And he was very good at betting it. I actually just saw him over the weekend. I haven't seen him in like 12 years. I ran into him at the food store, and we caught up for a little bit. And he's still an avid NASCAR fan. But he is a big, big NASCAR guy. And I know there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. I know it's not easy, all right? But it doesn't interest me at all. You could think golf is the most boring sport. A lot of people do, right? Soccer, most boring sport in the world. A lot of people think that. It's just personal preference more than anything. All right. Yes, John. Every track is different. Yes, guys are better on certain tracks, and yes, those crews are putting in work. The crews are insane. I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole one time of watching like some of the quickest pit changes in history. I mean, those guys are talented. All right, not taking anything away from them. The drivers, I'm not taking anything away from. It's just I can't sit there and watch it. That's just me personally. I'm not sure what kind of happy ending you're referring to there, John. I'll let others imagine what that is. But NASCAR could end in a crash landing. You're right. All right, let's go over the picks. All right, I'm done talking NASCAR, done talking Hallmark, all that kind of good stuff. All right, so I want to show you one thing. All right, it'd be good if I was clicking on the right screen though. Here it is. All right, so this is the course fit tool, and this is why I'm using the specific stats that I was talking about, this is why I'm using that. All right. So this is for Augusta National. All right. And it shows you this little chart here. All right. Shows you what is most important on a course. So, like, if I switch this, right? If I switch this to if I switch this to Pebble Beach, it's gonna look different. All right, I'm picking Pebble Beach for a reason. If it wants to switch for me, it's not gonna switch for me. All right, I'm not gonna pick Pebble Beach. Let me pick Bay Hill. All right, Bay Hill is actually relatively comparable. You can see that was one course that I would say is relatively comparable. But East Lake, for example, see how this changes and different things are more important. All right, so that's why I wanted to show you this for Augusta, and this is why I'm using the stats that I'm using. All right, because if you look, right, driving accuracy is not so important. Why? Well, Augusta's relatively open. All right, there's not a lot of trouble on the sides. Yes, there's trees and stuff, but it's relatively open. But driving distance is very important, right? Putting is important, around the green is important, and the approach is important. What were the four main stats that I was looking at? Driving accuracy, strokes gained tee to green, putting, approach shots, and your stats around the green with your short game. I didn't just pull those out of thin air, right? They're based off of what this course needs in order for players to play well. All right. If I switch it to something else, let's say I picked, I don't know, TPC Boston's probably a good one, right? This one is relatively similar, but driving is super, super important. And approach shots are important. Around the green, not that important because it's a relatively short course. Your driving accuracy again is about in the same spot. But if you pick a course, I'm trying to find like a short course. Renaissance. That's not a short course. Waialae, this one. All right, look at this one. All right, this one is a short course, and this is why these things are more important. It's a short, but it's a tight course, short and tight. All right, so driving accuracy is more important, and your approach game is more important. Driving distance not so important. Putting, the greens aren't terribly hard, and around the greens not that hard. So see how this changes. All right, I'm off my soapbox here with why this changes, but there's Augusta National for you. Okay, that's why I'm going there. All right, let's look at these things. All right, this is DraftKings. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'll zoom in a tad here for you. FanDuel has very similar lines for all this stuff, so you guys can take a look at those if you want, and you can see. But I gave you my outright winners. I would take any of the outright winners that I picked to finish top 10. I think the guys that I like to win, they may not win, but they may finish in the top 10. So I would go top 10 on any of those guys. But I want to show you some of these interesting bets you can make. Right. So here's your winners. Here's your top 5s, your top 10s. You can take top 20 finish. You can take top 30. The odds get worse and worse as you go. Just so you know, you have to bet more to win less. But take a look at some of these prop bets. All right. The other thing you'll see a lot of people matchups. I'm just going to go over these very, very quickly. This is a guy head-to-head in the first round. I may have a play or two on these tomorrow morning. All of the picks will be posted in Discord. The outrights will be posted tonight. I'll post them when I have to coach tonight. So when I'm done coaching, we have a game. So hopefully the boys win, or else I'm going to be in a bad mood. But we have a game tonight. So when I get back from the game tonight, I will post my outright picks and my top 10, top 20 picks, things like that. And then tomorrow I will post a little bit more about the matchup stuff possibly with a little bit more knowledge on what the weather's looking like and things like that. All right. I also want to watch some of the coverage today to see how guys are doing in the practice rounds and stuff, so I can watch what their swings are looking like and see how they're playing. Again, I was a golfer, so I can analyze all that kind of stuff. Take a look at some of this stuff, though. All right, take a look at some of this stuff. Make and miss the cut. All right, you can bet on guys to make the cut. You can bet on guys to miss the cut. Obviously, these guys up here to make the cut, right? These guys are going to have super high odds because they're expected to make the cut. All right, but there's one on here that I'm not opposed to betting. All right, there's one. Tiger Woods. All right, Tiger Woods should make the cut. He always plays well in rounds 1 and 2 here. It's the line's juicy. I don't love it, but if you want some Tiger action, take him to make the cut. But here is some interesting bets that I want to get into. Right here. All right, so you can bet on the nationality of the winner, where they come from. All right, if you take a look at the guys that I put up there, most of them, right? If I switch back to this screen, right? American, European, American, Asian, European. It's a wide range of guys. I wouldn't take that bet. But take a look at this, all right? I'm so excited. This is where the degen comes out, all right? You can look at some of the why am I getting a lot of texts? Sorry. My family group chat is popping off, and they're pissing me off. Turn the text off. Stop coming into my computers. No one needs to see that stuff. All right. These are guys to win, but here's one thing that I like. So this is not to win. This is to finish in the highest spot out of the English players. I like Justin Rose to win. I love this line right here. Justin Rose at plus 330 for the highest English finisher. Love that. All right, so Justin Rose is a good one there. Here with Great Britain and Ireland, right? Rory's going to be super. He's not even that juiced. I didn't even look at this. I like Rory to be the highest finisher for out of all these guys here. These are where you can make quite a bit of money on this stuff. Obviously, the outright winner would give you some nice cash as well. But these are some of the bets I like. So again, I'll post them in the Discord, and we'll go for there. But here, again, my picks, the guys I like to win. If you guys have any questions related to golf or anything, put them in the chat right now. I'll give you guys a minute or two to put those in there, and then I'll give you out my picks for today, April 5th. All right, I'll give you the picks. I'm looking for a nice bounce back after yesterday because yesterday was tough. It was not a good day. You like Spieth, Crapping Camper? Yeah, Spieth is not a bad play. I'll tell you why. He's not great off the tee distance wise. His short game is very, very good. And he does have a good knowledge of the course. So Spieth is not a terrible pick. What are his odds? He's a plus 1,800. So yeah, I mean, personally, I like Cantley over Spieth at that line, but Spieth's not a bad pick. I can't see Tiger handling this length of course with the weather, his age, his back and legs. I don't think he makes the cut. I'm just guessing. So the reason I don't like Tiger to win the tournament is because of what you said, right? I mentioned his back. I mentioned his legs. He's going to struggle. But at Augusta, historically, he's played very well Thursday and Friday. All right, so I do like him to make the cut. And I think, actually, believe it or not, I think this weather could benefit him. Why? Because there's a chance that this tournament finishes on Monday. All right, it would be out of tradition, like I said. Hopefully that doesn't happen for the golf fans and stuff like that. But there's a chance with all the rain that it could finish on Monday. What does that do for Tiger? It gives him more rest time. So could be an interesting play. I don't think he will win the tournament for sure. Because again, he's that back pain, the leg pain is going to get to him eventually. And he's going to struggle, especially on the soft ground. I have back problems. Walking on soft ground is not good for me. It hurts my back, especially after a while. Golfing in the rain, I don't do it. Golfing on soft, wet conditions, I don't do it because it hurts. All right. Yeah, the fan in me too, right? I do hope he makes the cut. I would like to see him make the cut. I want to see Tiger do well. But I like, again, the picks are up there. Scheffler, McIlroy, Cantlay, Sungjae Im, and Justin Rose to win it all. If you want to put a bet out there on these things, here's what I would say. I'm going to put them in Discord again. I wouldn't put more than a quarter of a unit on any of these guys. All right. Here's what I would personally do. I would take 1 unit of my bankroll and divide it among these 5. So put a fifth of a unit on each of them. Personally speaking, again, these are not easy plays to cash with these other with the thing. Mom, stop texting me right now. I'm busy. Anyway, these are the guys I like. Again, I wouldn't put more than a quarter of a unit on any of them. All right. That being said, let's get into today's picks quickly. Here's the picks for today, April 5th. All right, they're going to be in Discord immediately following this. I like Red Bull Leipzig in the DFKB Pokal. It's the German Cup. All right. I like their team total over 1.5. A baseball parlay for you. I like the Angels and the Rays both to win tonight, both get it done. And another parlay, no run in the first inning with the Giants and the White Sox, and Fiorentina draw no bet in the Italian Cup. All right, I can show you where all those bets are really, really quickly if you want to see them. I got a few minutes here. Got a hard stop at 1 o'clock for a work meeting. Work's always digging into my fun, you know. All right. What were the plays? All right, we're gonna go to soccer. All right. Um, Mom's right. No, mom's asking me how my day's going. So she's asking me what I'm doing and how my day's going. But she knows I'm busy. She knows I'm recording right now. All right. Here's what you can do. All right. On FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, any book, guys, you can search for the game. All right. It makes it very, very easy. You can just search. But I'll show you how to get there if you're not searching. All right. You're gonna scroll over here to all leagues. And you're gonna click on all leagues, and they'll come up eventually. And you're gonna scroll down, all the way down to Germany. Takes a minute to load. The German Cup. All right, you're gonna click on that. And here you go. 2:45 Eastern time. Leipzig versus Dortmund. All right, I like Leipzig's team total over 1.5. Where you find that is in team props over here. You're gonna scroll down. Why is this not loading? Actually, I lied. It's in goals. Sorry. It's in goals. And you're going to scroll down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down to home team over 1.5. All right. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. That's that one. The money line parlay, pretty self explanatory with the Angels and the Rays. If you go to the MLB, they're here. Right. You're going to scroll down. The Rays are right here. Click on that. Go down to the Angels. Click on that. Bada bing, bada boom. Place them. And then what was the other one? I gotta go back and remember. Oh, no run first inning. If you guys aren't familiar with that bet, it's you click on the game. So it's the White Sox and the Giants. Right. You go to innings. And you scroll down to first inning over under half a run, and you're taking the under, right? So you add that to the bet slip, and then we're going to go back to soccer. And we're going to go back to all leagues, and we're going to scroll down to Italy. Where are you? Italy. Italian Cup. Fiorentina. And you're going to come down here when it loads, and you're going to go to tie no bet. This bet right here. Draw no bet, tie no bet, same bet. There you go. There's the play. All right, that's what it looks like. So, if you guys aren't aware of how to place those bets, I just went over all of them for you. I'm going to flip back here, John, because I'm going to get to your question right now because I'm going to see if I can actually find a line on it. I'm going to see if I can find a line. Don't worry, DJ's got a lot of places to look for lines. So I'm going to go look. No U.S. book is going to have it. It's going to have to be an offshore book. I can guarantee you of that. Can I see this without... Oh, I have to log in. I gotta remember my login on this account. That's not the password. Maybe this is. I don't know if I can find a line on Trump to beat the indictment. I can't log into one of my accounts right now. It's locking me out for some reason. Yeah. Um, Let me look at one more spot. Yeah, the login is degen. You're right. Um, there you go. That's the password. Yep. Um, Let me see if I can find this. There's odds on him. Like there's presidential election odds. I'm looking for those I can find easily. That I'm not too worried about. But all right, I'm gonna show you this real quick. There were no, I can't find the odds, but these were odds that were up before he was actually indicted. So it was for him to be indicted in 2013 or 2023 was very high. For him to be arrested on Tuesday, for him to be extradited from Florida to New York, and then for him to be the defendant in the criminal trial. So you could have bet on all those things. I don't know what books would have had them, but there you go. They do have odds on that kind of stuff. All right, I'm gonna get. There's one thing. Otani pitching versus the M's. What's the Angels' motto when he pitches and isn't in the lineup? I think I just Otani's such a good pitcher. He's gonna make the M struggle. I don't know. I actually don't know. They got honestly speaking, I think they have two of the best players in baseball, Otani and Trout. But I love the A's today. The Angels, not the Athletics. The Angels. You just found it. Did you find the line? You put it in chat. What's the line? I'm trying to look. My one site that I use for offshore betting won't let me log in. Um, I'm locked out of my account. That's the one that I got limited on, by the way, for my betting. Um, all right. Anyway, that's enough of me fumbling around here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. And hopefully these picks will go well today and we'll cash. Again, Masters picks will be in the Discord later tonight. And hope you guys have a great Tuesday. And I will see you all very, very soon.